All right, hello, my name is Marcus, and today we are at Target. Let's see what they have here. You know him, you love him. So, many believe these are the golden seasons of SpongeBob. This is before the movie, which I always thought was the grand finale to the SpongeBob universe, but evidently not. I think after Steven Hillenburg died, it was found out that he didn't want more properties made from this, but now they're on a spin-off show and 7 more seasons, so do that as you will, but definitely a goated purchase. I'd recommend. 10 out of 10 would recommend. So it's strange to call this a classic. Minions: The Rise of Gru. Minions themselves, they've been around 10, 15 years. I mean, the Minions, if you think about it, they transcend so many barriers in our culture, from making nudity more mainstream in American film and television, which is, I don't know why we're so up our ass about it. Clearly, well, if you've seen the movie, you know they are. Another Illumination picture. So, migration. This was really thought-provoking, and I think what I got from the movie, the overall message was not to gentrify a place, because these little sons of bitches, where do they go? They went from New York to LA to start a new life at something, I don't know, making bread. Stay home, make it big at home, and then maybe move, but for now, stay where you are. And they learned that very easily, really quick. Oh my gosh. This was Kim Kardashian's big break. This is how she got discovered. The tape with Ray J, that's fake news. This is where she got her acting chops. This is how the Kardashian show got started. She played, it's like 12 dogs in this. She played Piper, yes. This one right here, this is Kim Kardashian. Love that for her though, you know. She's the face of the SAG Animated Guild strike. Definitely look into her, donate to her, give her all of your money. She's gonna fix stuff for them, I know. Oh, and how could I not give my flowers to Barbie? Dance the Night Away. Oh my gosh. Truthfully, this movie, it's funny because really, I think the big takeaway I got from this is that shorts for all men need to be at least a 4-inch seam or below. Anything more than 4, you're doing it wrong. Oh. Okay, so if you are interested in scaring yourself shitless for fun, like I am, this is a very fun movie. An even better game, too. Five Nights at Freddy's. Matthew Lillard devoured his role in this. He fully did. Now, an interesting fact about this movie is that all of the autoerotica, there's a term for not animated, artificially, they're characters. So they actually went to Chuck E. Cheese. They went in the back right as they were about to throw out the old animatronics, you know, the old creepy ones they used to play the band. So they got them and they refitted their bodies to the creatures you see on this screen. Isn't that crazy? Reduce, reuse, recycle. That's great. We're not done yet. There's a lot more to show. Come here. Okay, so some familiar faces again. You know, we know this is a Target of good quality. Mission Impossible. Now, I gotta say, after the 7th or 8th one, is the mission really impossible? I mean, come on, Tom. I gotta say, you know, outside of Hollywood, you're a complicated guy. A complicated little man, you know, but I'm gonna give you your flowers. You're flying off of shit. You're blowing up shit. You're fucking hanging off of a plane. I couldn't do that. So I'll give you your flowers for that. But other than that, I think part 2 of Dead Reckoning needs to be Mission Possible. We need to end this. We get it. Like what? So my dog, my sweet little dog, Callie, shout out to you, fucks with this so much. She loves this so much. I don't understand why, but if I ever don't want to discipline her like most young millennial parents these days. I just put it on the iPad and throw it at her and call it a day. And it seems to be working for most kids, so I thought, why not try it with her? Okay, first off, an 8-film collection. I am very much in support of physical media, but who has time for 8 movies? This is too much. I gotta say though, this is the best bang for your buck out of everything I've seen here. Best value. As far as magic goes, you would think, wouldn't that kind of cancel out all the problems in the movies? Because magic really does solve everything. You'd think it would. You already have your little cap, you already have your little wand, the talking hat. Wouldn't that just wrap up by one? Couldn't you just wish, oh, I wish these people would stop going after me, and they would stop. But no, they have to drag this out for 8 movies. It's crazy, but it's entertainment, and I'll allow it. Okay, I need to set the record straight with this, that a lot of millennials will not like. Mean Girls the movie, the original one, with Rachel McAdams, Lindsay Lohan, that's its own thing. Then it was a musical on Off-Broadway. This is based off of the musical. So all of you butthurt man-children that are sobbing over this remake, that's not even a remake of the movie, get some help. Because this was actually fucking amazing. Renee Rapp, I love you. Love me back. Just also Tina Fey. Cannot go wrong. This movie is single-handedly the reason why Build-A-Bears across America have been shutting down. No one will tell you this, but this was actually a licensed toy that they had back in 2008 that they had to discontinue. Someone brought it on set for a totally different movie, and everyone just started dying, like one by one. And so the only survivor managed to write the screenplay and thought this would be a good movie. And then that's how this was born, which seems kind of weird because, people died, but, leave it to Hollywood to have a heart. Oh. You're coming home with me. So, okay, the country bears. Let me just say, Disney did. I wish Walt Disney was alive right now so we could just see how much he could have cooked with this. You have wildlife. Everyone loves wildlife, right? And bears. We live in Southern California. What's our state animal? The grizzly bear. What are these? All grizzly bears. There's the music, the outfits. They're very much Y2K. This is all Y2K. All the outfits you see here, Y2K. Again, very relevant, very today, very forward. This is a movie that will stand the test of time. This is a movie that you will tell your grandchildren to watch, and they will tell their grandchildren to watch. Just timeless. It's perfect. How could you... It's perfect. I love it. So when you think of Willy Wonka, I'll tell you what I don't think of. A little white twink. This is not Willy Wonka. Gene Wilder, I am so sorry. I am so sorry that this little boy thought he could do you justice. I think the most intriguing part of this for me, not Timothée Chalamet, but Hugh Grant being an Oompa Loompa. My favorite thing about it is knowing, I think when you get to a certain point in your career, you'll do anything for a check, which is exactly what he did, and I admire him for that. I mean, you're not coming with me today, but just wanted to shout out to my boy Hugh. We go back. What else are we doing today? Oh, Civil War. Very much the United States in 100 days, precisely. Okay, I have opinions. Many opinions. So, Kung Fu Panda. Let me just say, DreamWorks Animation, y'all ate. Not with this movie specifically, but with the 3 beforehand. Now, if you saw Kung Fu Panda 4, you're probably wondering, why is Awkwafina in this? Where's the Furious 5? Hollywood's so sick and twisted, let me tell you. So Awkwafina, who plays this little rascal, she actually talked the 5 actors who played the Furious 5 out of their contract for this movie. How did she do that? What she did was she did her little thing where those who know, she said what she was talking about. She said it enough times for them to hear something else. What they heard, no one knows, but for whatever reason, they didn't sign back. Ergo, they're not in the movie, which lowered it a few points for me. Now, this aside, these 3 are worth your time. Your time, your energy, your love. They're worth it. They're worth it. They're worth it. Now, this is really funny. This is probably... You look at a monster movie and you think, man, I love it when they, like, fuck shit up. It's the best. I love it too. Now, if you pay enough attention, this is a love story. It's almost like your modern day Romeo and Juliet, except they kill everyone instead of killing themselves, which is the better answer, because now they can stay in love. It's so heartwarming, like interspecies mingling. I support it. I do. I mean, have you seen Zootopia? That rabbit and that fox, like, I love it. Now, I know better than most people on how to play a long game. I'll tell you that much. Now, Dennis Quaid, you know, not every actor that stars in a movie, they don't need their name on the cover, because ultimately I was very disappointed by his performance in this. He only appeared for 5 minutes, but still left me feeling so empty and dissatisfied with this. It's really funny too, because he's not a main character, but he's on the front. It's false advertising. He's not even on the back either. I don't understand. Oh, okay. This one I'll probably leave with Fall Guy. Now, does this have much of a plot? No. Does it have Ryan Gosling? Yes. Now, truthfully, it doesn't take me much to watch movies with moderately attractive white men, but I'll say this one takes it for me. I mean, the visuals of him, you also get, decent AI animation, that is, because, you can't really escape it. That I'd rate a solid 10. I mean, who doesn't like seeing moderately attractive white men blow shit up? It's kind of in their nature, and they're very good at it. So, let me go back again. I feel like I overlooked a few. Madam Web. The web really does connect us all, and I'll tell you why. Dakota Johnson, about maybe 20 years ago, 25 actually, she was able to, from this point in time, she was able to travel back in time 25 years ago, get a good viewpoint of everything that was happening in our country right now, in the past, present, future. She saw it all. But for some reason, she decided, I'm not saying anything. Mum is the word. Because how else are we going to stay connected if I tell everyone everything? We're all secretly connected. They don't want you to know that. So, really, it's one of those films where you get it if you get it, and if you don't, you don't. The commentary on just the world overall and politics, it's quite profound. I mean, what more can you say? It's Dakota Johnson. It's a Sony Marvel movie, which, everyone looks at those so fondly. I mean, what was it? Was it Morbius? Mobius?
Oh yeah, Morbius.
Morbius, yes, Morbius. See, I would pick that up right now if that were here, because it's always Morbin time. This film kills me, because the only thing that was the downfall of our protagonist in this was not waiting 30 minutes after eating before getting into the pool. Like, everyone laughs at it, but no, if you don't eat, or if you eat, jump into the pool, just right after a bite, just a single chip, you're getting fucked by whatever is sitting in your pool, whether it is a wasp, whether it's a demon, you're gonna get fucked. I don't know what it is about most modern rom-coms where people will want to ruin their relationship, either their current relationship for fun, because that's what these two are doing. They're both, oh, look at us, we're in happy relationships. Oh, look, there's someone who's moderately attractive with minimal positive traits. Let's go explore that. And that they did. People, they say, they will always ask actors, how do you not fall in love if you're doing these sexy scenes, if you're making out? Again, acting. We're all pretending here. Robert Downey Jr., he wasn't actually holding the Infinity Gauntlet. That's why he's still here. And he's about to play Doctor Doom now, so the more you know. What started as an innocent little, a fun chemistry read It's spiraled. It went out of control. This was the first domino that fell. This movie. Fast forward a few months, they've completely left their IRL partners for each other. They now own a farm with 12 children. Within a year, how do you live? How do you sit down? The movie doesn't even entertain me that much, but it's the mess. It's the mess. Okay, I'm probably gonna get one more thing. Only because I vibe with even numbers. I think the biggest takeaway from this movie, from all of them, really, is just don't have kids. Because that was the only thing that caused them to be in danger throughout the entire movie. That little child on that bridge who was playing with that little toy, let me just say, I stood up out of my seat and I slowly clapped. I slowly clapped as their fucking little idiot of a son just bit it. I was so happy. No idea. If you like to talk to tomatoes, if a squash can make you smile, well, bet your sweet ass I love me some soft little Christian show. And that's Veggie Tales. They haven't depicted Jesus yet. But if Jesus was a fruit or vegetable, I'm thinking, this is why you get a cart when you go to Target. A cart or a basket, because, like, what I look like. Now, which one? Yeah, that can stay on the floor, belongs there. Now, I feel like personally, I would headcanon Jesus is already such a funny thing, but that's more common than you think. Now, Jesus would definitely be a jicama. This is, well, water is good for you, and that's mostly jicama, but also it grows in the ground, which, Jesus was in the ground, and then he grew out of it. Remember? Walk with me. But I mean, between that, vegetables are fun. Eat your vegetables. Watch your vegetables. I can't even stop there, fucking. Okay, this film, loved it when it came out. Loved it. It's such a dude bro movie, but, complimentary, non-derogatory. I just can't believe how dirty they did my boy. I don't even know if you could see him on the back here in the credits. Manny Jacinto, the man that he is. They robbed him. He wasn't even supposed to be a minor character. Again, Hollywood with its fucking last minute changes. It's so messed up. This man right here, he wasn't going to return for this movie. Manny Jacinto was actually the star. They got 6 weeks into shooting, and then they said, you bring a vibe that's a bit too dangerous to unleash with that jawline, with the acting skills, the visuals. This movie would do too successful, and so they had to downgrade and bring back Tom Cruise. Again, he falls short. He's just not my favorite person. I think that's the big takeaway. Because how can you live up to such high expectations when you're 5'8"? Explain that to me. This is so wild to me. How do you go from spending over a year of your life to be this man, only to have, the 6'8" twunk from Euphoria outdo you after rehearsing for an hour? I would have to leave. I'd have to move. It's crazy. I mean, there isn't as much singing and dancing in this as I thought there was, although I did get, I picked out a few interesting cameos that you would never even expect and sit in your seat for this one. This film is actually a spin-off of a spin-off to Muppets Take Manhattan, because this movie was in Manhattan. So in the background, when at their wedding reception, Miss Piggy was actually performing. I miss her so much. I think we have a good selection so far. So we have Veggie Tales, Saturday morning fun, Sunday morning values, all in one already. So versatile. We have, a scandalous vanilla romance. just to make you feel like your own romance in your life is actually fun, or even if you don't have it, this will make you feel better about being alone. Okay, Madam Web. And so it's all connected. Everything from you missing the bus to a bird flying out of a tree. And by flying, I mean just dropping and hitting the ground, because it happened to me the other day. I did miss my bus, and I literally almost fell over a bird that had just fallen out of a tree. How is that connected? Ask her. Yeah, Ryan Gosling, he needs to take a fall, but like right on top of me. I need that. Now, if you want to watch a romance-coded film that will make you feel good in the best way possible, this one, yes. It's very Bonnie and Clyde. It's very, what does that one song go like? That's nobody else can see us together. That's the vibe that this has. And finally, the pièce de résistance, the Country Bears. Not enough words can be said about this movie. I mean, this was actually Robert De Niro's first Academy Award. First. A foot-stomping, crowd-pleasing, heartwarming romp. They don't make enough romps these days. So this really is one of the last of its kind. So cherish all your romps, but especially the Country Bears.
Gotta cherish the romps.
Should I keep going? Okay, let me just... This was actually my first Ghostbusters. I love my life. This was my first Ghostbusters movie. And, it's really... I feel that more people need to look at a lot of these movies without any outside interference because, well, take my words as fact, though, because I know more than you. But I had fun with this. I had so much fun with this. Now, it's really wild because, so, in Ghostbusters Afterlife, they went back to each hometown of all of the previous presidents that are no longer with us. And they brought them all back to life. And the last 30 minutes of the movie, it turned out to be basically a free-for-all. Like any weapons that were on hand, they could use with each other. Now, surprisingly, well, I should say unsurprisingly, JFK was the first to, kick the bucket again. How and why, I'll let you be the judge of that. Abraham Lincoln, he lasted a lot longer than I thought he was going to. I think it might have been, he was taken down by Bush. Bush's favorite movie was, his favorite film series was The Planet of the Apes, the original one, where they didn't look like apes, pretty much. But what he did was, in the first Planet of the Apes movie, this one unfortunate human, he was unnamed, what they did was they just got a bunch of bananas and they just started beating him with them. I think it's funny because Abraham Lincoln himself does look like a chimpanzee. So it just adds, it adds to that. There's layers. Now, this film is the epitome of anything you put your mind to, you can do, because... Now, why are you in space in a Honda Accord? Why? Now, many years ago, it was actually estimated that by now we would have flying cars, and technically we do. It's just that no one knows how to activate them. So walk with me. So, there's a trick. So when you're driving your car, you're gonna press the gas and you're gonna press the brake at the same time.
I'm sorry.
If you hit hard enough, you'll hit the stratosphere. It's a straight shot. because that's what they did in the movie. You know, it's like it's Vin Diesel. Who am I not to trust Vin Diesel? It's got the. You see that? That's you can trust someone who looks like this. He doesn't have hair because of all the knowledge that he has. Look at that! Look at that shine. Look at. So good. Also, okay. This is so funny to me because had I not seen the Blu-ray disc logo, also Blu-ray, I gotta take a second to talk about Blu-ray. Blu-ray is, when I was coming up, Blu-ray really used to be that girl. She was everywhere, she was everything. This was, like, in terms of DVDs and quality, this is caviar. Everything else here. Oh, actually, almost all of this is Blu-ray. Oh, that's a serve. That's a serve. Now, the fun thing about Blu-ray is that if you had, so I learned this interesting experiment that I had. I had a DVD player. It was a Blu-ray player because, you know, I have money, and I happened to open up the DVD, like I opened up the case so I could see it spinning in real time. Now, because of the name Blu-ray, you'd think, oh, why is it blue? Like the disc isn't even blue, it's just the case. Here's the thing. If you open up your DVD player while it's still rolling, you get a paintbrush and you let it come in contact with the disc. It spins fast enough, it makes blue paint. I literally painted my house with that. It looks great. It's a wonderful Craftsman that I just bought. It's so fun. Now, let me just say, I love my girl Fantasia. I love Taraji P. Henson. That's Auntie. For a musical called The Color Purple, there wasn't a whole lot of purple. And I'm not sure who to blame for that, but I do have an idea. I'll give you a clue. Her name starts with the letter O. Just now, again, this is yet another film that continues to be relevant and the state of the world that we're in right now. Crisis of Infinite Earths. So what are we in? A crisis on an infinite Earth. Well, it will be infinite because it'll last longer than us, which is pretty much infinite for me. I don't care. But now the thing is with the Justice League is that they have one thing that any Marvel group, the X-Men, the Avengers, the X-Men, there's like another group, like the Midnight Suns, like literally anyone. The one thing that they have over every Marvel group is sexual tension. Now, I'd argue that's going to save the world. Like 100 days from now when Kamala and Trump are at the stand, turn down the lights a bit, get some wine, we can talk it out. We can really talk it out. Okay. So I said I was going to cap it at 6, but I lied. So, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Let me just say, one of DreamWorks' best. Now, okay, so this is a bit embarrassing to admit, but so they used motion capture in this movie. And if you're not familiar with that, that's when people get dressed up all in black and they stick balls in their body and they move around. And so you can kind of use that as a guide for the characters. So Puss in Boots, you see him there. That's me, technically speaking. I did the motion capture for Puss in this movie, which is equally just, I know, it's amazing. It means so much to me. It would mean more to me if, it was a box office success. It made, $3 million first week. And I was promised like 75% of that. Like the only thing I've gotten in the mail is like Vaughn's coupons recently. So I don't know what's taking them so long, but I will be in contact with them, trust and believe. But, you know, if buying this means that even 5 cents will come back to me, sure, I'll just keep the good vibes going. Now, ooh. I don't know how I didn't notice this before, but okay, Star Trek. This there's actually like a backdoor scene that's on this DVD. Now, it's not in the bonus features. What you have to do is you need to play the film, but in reverse. If you play it in reverse for about 10 minutes, give or take, it'll just be pitch black. Yes. But you'll stop it after 10 minutes. Then you press play, and then Palpatine comes out, and he says, Spock, we're getting a team together. Now, they filmed this with the intention of combining the Star Trek and the Star Wars universe. I don't know why more people don't know about this or why they haven't followed up, but I think it'd be fun. I mean, it's space. Do you really want to tell me that they take place in different universes? Space is huge. Like, have you been to space? Exactly. Now, see, this movie is hilarious because despite everything that happens in it, secretly Bowser did marry Peach. And they actually had a crazy honeymoon off screen. And this is spoilers for people who haven't seen it, but in the post-credits scene, we're led to believe that Yoshi is now entering the world. It's not Yoshi. I'll tell you who it is. Sit in your seat for this. Bowser Jr. Peach plus Bowser Jr. She laid an egg. That was Bowser Jr. Point blank, the end. I don't know how everyone is misinterpreting it, but yeah, they fucked. Now, this film is, I think the most outrageous part of this movie isn't the fact that they're mutant turtles. It's the fact that they're teenagers that think they're going to save the world. Because what power do teenagers have? Absolutely none. They don't have anything. But this is certified fresh, so I guess maybe they knew what they were doing here. I will say, they did cook. They did cook with this. I mean, teenagers actually being productive and not being a waste of space. It's highly undersold here, but I ain't mad at it. No. This is so funny. So the funniest thing about this movie, Rise of the Beast. So originally, one of the beasts in the movie was going to be a Model T, a Ford Model T, like the first edition, kind of like a great, and then like just continue that 27 times, grandfather transformer. That's what it was going to be. And this was supposed to be the first movie in the franchise that would have incorporated mostly animatronics and not as much CGI, because who directed this? Oh yeah, because Michael Bay, he didn't want to pay for the animation, so he thought, animatronics would be cheaper. No one told him otherwise, but they got pretty far, and they were doing tests with the Model T Transformer. I thought it was great. It was only like 5 feet tall, so very fun, because usually when you think of these things, they're fucking huge, but this one wasn't. Michael saw it, and he said, this is so cool. Like, I'm going to get my first Oscar with this movie. And then someone had accidentally let it slip the cost of it, which we still don't know to this day. But Michael proceeded to rip the animatronic apart with his bare hands and said, you know what? It's animation. Just stick it in animation. And that's what they did with this. You can't really tell, though, so I can excuse it, but Yeah, know what you're getting into when you're making a movie, because Michael doesn't know. I don't know if he ever will know, but, old habits die hard. Ooh, okay. Wallace and Gromit, let me just say, this needs to be in the National Film Registry, and I'm so serious when I say this. So, I think one of the most, Cillian Murphy, his portrayal of, Doctor Doom in Oppenheimer. So, he based his performance off of Dr. Penguin in this movie, the little penguin with the little glove on his head and that awesome train chase. He based his performance off of that. In fact, most of the top actors in Hollywood, they've based their performances off of the characters in this movie specifically. I mean, Emma Stone in Poor Ones, she based it off of Gromit. Like, that's a range. That is actual range. Are you kidding me? It's so good. Now, I'm also going to have to get this too, because Aardman Animation is running out of clay. So the specific clay that they use to make these movies, they're running out of it. And I think they only just managed to make their last one. So go to your local Target, buy all of these so they can make more. So then Hollywood can continue to make banger movies. It's easy math. Easy math. Damn. I'm really about to have to take out a second mortgage on all of these things. It's worth it, though. It's worth it. Ugh. Okay. Do you know what I wish? I wish that Chris Pine knew how to sing. Because how are you going to be in a Disney movie and not know how to sing? It's the epitome of not knowing how to act, but yet you still act, which, in fact, now that you think about it, is actually a lot more common than you'd think. But, yeah, wish for Disney's centenary, I gotta say, you found a way to turn it up, because everyone loves a talking animal, a sidekick. That's mainly what propelled Shrek to its success that it is today. Because Shrek, you hear Shrek, what's the thing you think of when you hear Shrek? Donkey. Now, this little guy, Jeff, what Jeff did was take a movie that was half and half and then turned it to an absolute success. So the plot goes and as follows. So Asha is working her way through school. She has, $10,000 in student loans to pay off because, she's one of us. And Chris Pine's character, who happened to be called Chris Pine, because I guess there's a Chris Pine in this universe too, she went down to the financial aid office and she said, "Hey, Jeff, so FAFSA is really confusing. Can you help me?" And he said, "Sure." And so her wish was to be rid of these student loans, but then she found a little loophole, and so she spent the rest of the movie helping other people to get out of their student loans. It actually turned out to be a scam, though, and instead of removing their student loans, they had to owe back like 50% interest on top of their $2,500 a year that they owed. So they could never buy a house, but I mean, at least they have their degree in theater arts, which, that's how you get that CEO position, study up on your Uta Hagen. I gotta say, I really, I hate people. Let me tell you why. Because I had a lot of fun with this movie. I had a lot of fun. It was the perfect length. That's another thing with movies. They're too long these days when they don't need to be. I have good attention. I could sit there for 5 hours and watch something like Pedro Pascal just breathe. That'd be entertaining for me. This perfect little palate cleanser, an hour and 30 minutes. Get into it. Because I think we've lost the plot. We've lost our way with perfect bite-sized movies like this. I think the only thing that just doesn't really vibe with me with this release is... So, this film kind of caused a problem. So in my spare time, I volunteer at a vet clinic. And I probably do more than I should, but like 2 people quit last week, so yeah, I might get paid soon for it. Anyhow, so they have these creatures in this movie called flurkins. They look like cats, but they're not cats, and they'll like shove anything and everything in their mouth. We were getting, like almost every day after this movie was released, cats would come in, and I would have to like physically like reach my hand into a cat's throat and have to pull out like a doorknob, a key, a shoe. People were shoving things into their cats. That's not okay. We can't do that.
I agree.
So now if you're an OG like me, you know, back in the day, we had a website called Cool Math Games, only for the cool people. So if you don't know, my condolences. Now, they had a game called Fireboy and Ice Girl. This was basically the basis of this movie. And again, almost like Godzilla, they had a love, but not for each other. They just had a love for mutual destruction, since fire and ice are arguably some of the most dangerous things around for us. I mean, currently, there's 113 fires burning in California. Like, that's hot. That's all her. That's all her. Following this, actually, no one's going to tell you, but we're actually...
I don't have Mark Sternberg. Sorry.
That's okay.
All good.
I'm going to come back. Dying. Ooh, okay, so... what's it called? Okay, so Trolls band together. This was actually... Okay, so we know Beethoven, right? Not the Saint Bernard, but the old fuck that wrote bangers, you know. He had a huge book full of music, full of just like sheet music, you know. And he kept it under wraps. He kept this in the drafts because he knew that humanity was not ready for this. You know, it's the same reason why Shakespeare decided not to publish, any of his manuscripts for, like Child's Play or Christine or The Shining. Like, that was all Stephen King. If you think about it, there are enough letters. There's the same amount of letters in Shakespeare as there is Stephen King. If you flip them around, that's his anagram. That's who would have guessed? But yeah, Beethoven, Shakespeare. I forgot where I was going. I'm sorry.
Shakespeare and Stephen King are
Shakespeare and Stephen King are one and the same.
basically
Yes,
the same person.
they're basically the same. No, Beethoven didn't exactly have. He couldn't really think of an alter ego at the time, so he kind of just decided to go uncredited. You know, he still got his royalties, of course. You know, he's living fine now. Some say he's taking the world's longest nap. I don't know when he's gonna wake up, but he did all the music for Trolls. He even actually, and before he went on his, 100-year-long hiatus, He actually provided the guides for Justin Timberlake in this movie. So really, Justin Timberlake wouldn't be anything without Beethoven, and he's never going to thank him. So it's Team Beethoven and it's Team Janet, because can't stand him. Now, the funny thing with Ferrari, so fun fact. Okay, so Ferraris are fine, they're fun, but the real kicker is Porsche. Not Porsche cars, Porsche engines. And the fun thing with this is that I was invited to set. I was in charge of, I was the prop manager's assistant. And so anything that they needed, I would just grab any odd thing in my house and I would bring it and say, oh, hopefully this works. It didn't really, because I forgot that this takes place not in our modern time. So my Amazon Alexa didn't really fit in the movie's aesthetic, unfortunately. But I actually might start this all over again because I had a way it was going. It was such a fucking mess. Okay, so with Ford and Ferrari, I thought it was this is what makes no sense to me, because when I first saw the trailer, I thought this was called Ford versus Ferrari, because that's literally the plot, and it's just Ferrari. Because if you think about it, that kind of just spoils the movie. It just says Ferrari, which tells me that they won. Like, they won, right? I'm pretty sure they won. But, I mean, I don't know. This film, I do like it, but I do feel like it presents a false expectation for drivers to live up to these days. Because here in LA County, people can't drive. They see this movie and they're thinking, oh, look at me, I can go, They can't. They can't. And so, ever since this movie, there have been a rise in car collisions and car accidents. We saw this, I want to say, a few months ago. Michael B. Jordan, he said, ooh, look at me, I'm Adam Driver, I'm gonna drive this car. And so he did. He drove his little Ferrari, quite fittingly. He drove his Ferrari down Hollywood Boulevard. He was racing against Vin Diesel, which, with all that knowledge, he's gonna get you. And so the sun was hitting his head just right. It caused such a reflection. It bounced off his head and it went straight into Michael Jordan. He lost control of the car and then proceeded to hit 7 parked cars, trying to be Adam Driver. He'll never be Adam Driver. No.
I hate to cut it short, but I think my battery's starting to get low.
So we've learned a lot today about ourselves, about the world, love, power. Now we know. Son of a bitch.
Now we know.
Now we know how to get all of that from these different properties. And with that, have a great day, a great night, a good year. I'll see you back here.